Hello and welcome back to the Untitled channel. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas and New Year. I'm going to start the new year off with a delicious broth recipe. So I'm going to be making a kale and barley broth today. This soup is so delicious and nutritious for the winter months. It's a real warm and hearty bowl of soup, and it goes really well with a crusty brown roll or some brown bread. It's really nice. You could also have sourdough with this soup, that would work really well with this as well. So let's get started on making our delicious traditional Scottish kale and barley broth. So for the barley and kale scotch broth, you're going to need 175 grams of dried barley. Please make sure you rinse it under water in a sieve before you use it. 2 litres of water, beef rib or steak approximately 200 to 300 grams, a beef marrow bone which is optional, 1 onion chopped, 1 large leek chopped, kale chopped approximately 4 handfuls, salt and pepper. I like to use sea salt, and a little bit of beef stock which is optional at the end. So we're just going to start by adding our water into the pan. I've already got a litre in the pan here, and I've just added in my 2nd litre, and we're going to add our barley to the pan as well, and just make sure that your barley is well rinsed before you use it. So we'll just give that a good stir through, and we're going to bring the barley to the boil. Once the barley has been brought to a boil, you want to skim off any of the scum that has risen to the surface. So we just take that off and pop that into a jug or a plate or whatever, just to remove that from the soup. So just continue to remove all of the scum off of the top of the soup until you have a really clear liquid with the barley. So we're now going to add in our piece of beef. I'm using a piece of beef steak here, but beef rib would also work really well in this recipe and would give this soup a lot of flavour. So we're going to add in a good teaspoon or 2 of sea salt. I'm going to bring that back to the boil, and we're going to simmer that for an hour and a half until the barley is cooked. And once the hour and a half is up, we're going to take the beef out and just shred that up. And we're going to add in all of our onions and our leeks back into the boiling water. And your barley should be cooked by this point as well. So we're going to add in about 4 handfuls of kale. You could maybe get another handful or 2 of kale in there as well. I've actually gone for 5 handfuls here. And you can see the barley is really well cooked now. So we're just going to trim up our beef and just cut off any excess fatty pieces from the meat as well. And we're going to cut this up into really small pieces and add this back into the soup. And this just adds a real nice meaty texture into this soup. So once we've added all our beef in, we're just going to give that a really good stir around, and we're going to pop the lid back on and cook all of our vegetables. Now we're going to cook that for approximately an hour on a very low to medium heat, and I've just added in a little additional water here, and this is the point where you could add in a little bit of beef stock if you wanted to, but to be honest, the soup has plenty of flavour with the beef in it already, so the stock is purely optional. It's just if you have it on hand. Sometimes I have stock simmering away in the background, and I will quite often just dip into that if I need additional liquid in my soups. So we're just going to leave that simmering away on a low to medium heat for about an hour. So we're going to give that a really good flavour with salt and a little bit of pepper. Just taste it before you add in your seasons as well, and just adjust to your tastes as well. And serve it up straight away. It is so delicious, this soup. It's got such a lovely texture, Now I couldn't find my soup ladle, so I have this lovely huge mug that I got sent from Lees of Scotland. They make really nice sweets in Scotland. So I'm using that instead. And that's our delicious kale and barley broth, and just add additional seasonings on the top if you like as well. So I hope you enjoyed making your kale and barley broth, and I hope it was as delicious as my one was. It was so good, and my wee one loves this soup as well because she loves picking out all the little pieces of barley, so it just really works for her. And the kale is cooked really well in this dish as well. I'm sure you'll agree that once it's cooked, it's almost like a silky spinach texture, because kale can be quite tough in a recipe like this, but it just works really well. So as always, you can get the recipe over on my website. It's angiemilne.com, and you can also find me on Instagram as well. So if you took a picture of your soup, then please feel free to tag me. I'd love to see your foodie creations over on Instagram, and I'll share it on my stories as well. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, then please feel free to click subscribe, and if you click the little bell next to it, you'll be notified of my new videos coming out. So take care, and I hope to see you all again soon. Lots of love. Bye.